and this is quite an intensive ab session. It's quite short and you will be probably really glad that it's quite short. The exercises are designed to be quite challenging, so I will break some of them down, give you some modifications, do the ones that work for you, feel free to leave out the ones that don't, and you can rest obviously at any time. A confession that I have actually just done this whole session thinking I was recording it and wasn't, so I'm already feeling it in my abdominals. So I may not be able to move tomorrow, so if I don't quite look like I'm doing the best job in all of the exercises, it's just, this is my second time around, my own fault. And also probably you'll be thinking that I deserve it by the time you finish this evil little session. You don't need any props for this one, but find a seated position, whether that's legs crossed, legs out long, legs wide, whatever works for you. And we're going to just do a little warm up and a little stretch for our abdominals first. So when you're ready, we're going to just take it into a really gentle twist. So twist in as far as you can to one side, let your hands come down, hold for a breath. On your exhale, see if you can wring out and twist just a little bit more. Inhale as you come through centre, and again exhale to twist, hold in, and on an exhale, can you twist just a little bit more? Let's do a couple more of those. And let's just start to move a little bit more quickly. So inhaling through centre, exhaling, twist. So we want to get a little bit of movement here, we want to get a little bit of momentum, bit of warmth, get our blood going. And then we're going to take it into a little side bend this time. So taking that arm up and over, and up and over. So again, whatever position you're sitting in, whatever feels comfortable for you is absolutely fine for these. And we're going to stretch, take it over, reach. Alright, and then bringing that hand all the way. We're going to go over onto all fours next. So come in onto your hands and knees for cat-cow. Fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. When you're ready, tuck your bottom under, round through your back. When you're ready, roll the other way. So I really like this movement in relation to our abdominals, because when we're in this cow or this extended position here, it's giving a real nice stretch down the front of your body. When we're in that rounded cat position, it's a contraction. We're using our abdominals to pull our tailbone under and to curl our spine. So we're getting a real nice stretch and then contraction of our abdominals here. And again, we're using this as a little bit of a warm up, a little bit of movement here. So feel free to go maybe a little bit more quickly than you would normally. Just do what feels right for you. Alright, as you come through centre this time, we're going to go off our hands and knees and over onto our back. So let's take a moment to get our setup right here. We want to have our knees bent, our feet flat. We want to have nice and wide chest and shoulders, anchoring your shoulder blades and the bottom of your rib cage down onto the floor. It's really important that we have our rib cage and our pelvis in good alignment here. They should be pretty level. If our back is arched and our rib cage is higher than our pelvis, it's already pulling on those abdominals, so they're then not able to contract, they're then not able to work very well. So if your ribs are higher, grab a cushion, grab a towel, grab anything to pop under your head to allow those ribs to relax down. And we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. And if you're happy with your alignment there, we're going to bring those legs into a tabletop position. So bringing the legs up, 1, 2. On an inhale, you're going to lower one leg down to tap your toes on the floor and then exhale to pull that leg back up. Inhale as you lower, exhale to lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. So already we're starting to work those abdominals, and maybe you can feel those deep low abdominals working here. We want to make sure that as we're tapping the toe down and then lifting that leg back up, that we aren't bulging, we're not creating too much pressure in those abdominals, and we're not bearing down either. You can stay here with just the legs, or we can add the arms. And as you tap your toe down on the floor, the opposite arm is going to reach away from you, and then both are going to come in through centre. So inhale, reach the arm, the leg away, exhale, back in.
Again, you can choose to go as quickly or as slowly as you like. I'm going to kind of move through these exercises fairly quickly today because it is designed to be a little bit of a challenge, but feel free to pick out a few of these exercises and do them whenever you like at your own pace. You don't have to go fast or slow, just do what's right for you. We're going to do one more on each side here. And then we're going to bend the knees in, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. So a little reset, and you can come back to this position at any point if you just need a little break and you just need a little rest there. We're going to take our legs up towards the ceiling now for scissors. So legs up towards the ceiling, grab hold of one leg and reach the other leg away from you. You can choose where that leg's going to go. It's much more difficult to take the leg really low, so maybe start off at that high diagonal. The leg we've got hold of, we're going to pull it towards us for 1, 2, and then we're going to switch the leg, pull it towards you, 1, 2, and switch, 1, 2, and switch. And you can hold wherever you can reach. You can hold behind your thigh, you can hold your shin, you can hold wherever you can reach. And you're again choosing how high you're going to bring that leg, how low you're going to drop the other leg. Last one. And then let's do that little reset again. A little rock gently side to side. So staying with that kind of scissor theme, we're going to do scissor kicks now, which is kind of more of a flutter. It's more challenging the closer you get to the floor. So we're going to start really high up towards the ceiling and then see how you feel. Remember, the things that we're looking for here is that we're not arching our back and that we aren't bulging in those abdominals. So any of that puffing up of the abdominals or that bearing down, and it's just too much load for us. Okay, so take your legs up towards the ceiling, anchor your arms down by your sides, and let's start to kind of flutter kick those legs. You can stay here. You can go a little bit lower. You can go a little bit lower. Remember, we don't want to be tilting. We don't want to be creating any bulge. We're just going to breathe and we're going to kick those legs. Couple more breaths. One more time. Bend the knees in. Give yourself a little hug and just rock gently side to side here. We're going to take it into some little frog presses now. So we're going to bring our heels together and open our knees out wide to the side. Arms are down by your sides. Press your heels together and press those legs away from you. As you straighten your legs out, squeeze the knees and then bend them back in. So again, you can choose where your legs want to go. It's more easy to take your legs more easy. It's easier to take your legs straight up. It's more challenging to take them out, maybe to that high diagonal, and obviously the lower you go, the more challenging it is. So pick your level of challenge. Two more. And then bend the knees in. Give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side here. So it's really important that we aren't arching our back, because then we're going to put a lot of pressure onto our lower back. So for these next few exercises, I want you to make a little kickstand. So you're making a little triangle with your first finger and thumb, and you're going to pop it under your bottom. And what that's going to do is it's going to tilt your pelvis towards you so that your pubic bone is higher than your hip bones, and you can probably feel that your lower back is now pressing into the floor rather than there being a little space. Now I want you to try and keep your pelvis in this position and keep your back in contact with the floor. And we're going to find that frog press position again. So we're going to bring our heels together and our knees nice and wide. Okay. And then as you inhale, we're going to lower those legs down a few inches and then exhale to bring them back up. Inhale to lower and exhale to lift. So don't make it too big. Just go where you can control it, where your pelvis isn't rolling and you're not losing that lower back contact with the floor. Use your breath, inhale and then exhale. Two more. One more time. And then bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side here. We're going to add on a little bit from there. So if that felt like that was already enough for you, then do a little bit more of the little frog, lower and lifts. If you feel okay to move on, we're going to do straight leg this time. Find your little kickstand again, and then straighten your legs up towards the ceiling this time. We're going to squeeze the legs together. Same rules, lower back stays anchored. We're going to inhale as we lower the legs a few inches. We're going to exhale to lift. Pick your own adventure. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. You can go as low as you can control your back, and you can control your abdominals, and it will be different for everyone. Can you do 2 more? And then bend your knees in, give your knees a little hug and rock gently side to side. So if you come back and do this video again and again, you can try it without the kickstand, but don't let your pelvis roll the other way. Don't let your back arch, okay? It takes a lot of abdominal strength to not have that movement and to stay with that level, nice anchored pelvis. Okay, we're going to move on a little bit now, and we're going to go back to having that little kickstand under our pelvis. I'm going to take our legs, let's start with bent legs in fact, so bent legs in that tabletop position. And I want you to shift your knees to one side, and then I'm going to circle the knees down around and then bring them to the other side and then back into centre. Let's go the other way, to the side, circle down around, come back in through centre. Okay, you can choose to stay with that tabletop position, or you can straighten those legs out. Same thing, legs go to the side, circle down around and come back in through centre, and then go the other way. So whichever version you're doing, you're just going to keep rolling from one side to the other, little corkscrew here. And if you feel that you're nice and stable, nice and controlled, you can take the hands out and just have the arms down by your sides. It's up to you. I kind of like that hands underneath. And you can make this circle as big or as small again as you feel that you can control. Let's do one more each way. And then bend the knees in, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side here. I have yet more tortuous abdominal exercises for you. So this next one is often called a reverse crunch, and it's really good for working the rectus abdominis muscles, which is the six-pack muscles straight down the centre of our abdominals. Take your legs up towards the ceiling now. Anchoring your arms down by your sides. You can do this with your kickstand as well. That does make it a little bit easier. So pick which one feels better for you. We're going to have those legs as straight as we can get them. And we're going to tilt our pelvis towards us and just lift our bottom just off the floor. Breathe in normally the whole time. So don't hold your breath. It's not a Valsalva manoeuvre where you have to hold your breath to lift. We want to just be controlled the whole time. So bring your legs towards you and then roll your hips just off the floor. So if you're using your little kickstand, it's almost giving you something to roll up. It's already got your pelvis in that little tilted back position. If it feels too much, soften the knees. You've got a little bend in the knees. You can even do tabletop here. So again, just find the position that feels right for you. Can you breathe the whole time? I obviously can, because I'm talking the whole time. Can you do one more like this? And then knees in, knee hug, and just rock gently side to side. So that's us working the six-pack muscles straight down the front of our abdominals. We're now going to move on to the obliques, which are down the sides. Okay, it's the same movement, but we're just going to twist our pelvis a little bit. So when you're ready, take your legs back up towards the ceiling, and then you just kind of hitching one hip up so that your knees are kind of turned to the side. And same thing, we're going to lift the knees and kind of bring them towards your shoulder as you lift and lower this time. And again, you can do it in that bent knee position. Can you hear my mat groaning? It's like, no, I don't want to do it again. 2 more. And it's not about coming up super high, bend your knees in, have a little rest. It's not about coming up super high. You're not trying to get your legs flung over your head. It's just about not flinging, not using momentum, and finding that work in those abdominals. When you're ready, we're going to do the same on the other side. So taking those legs up towards the ceiling again kind of hitching that hip up, so we're kind of twisting here, so those knees are going to go towards your shoulder. When you're ready, let's go again here. Last one. Bend the knees in, knee hug, rock gently side to side. Okay, bring your feet down to the floor now. Let's take it into a nice little spine twist. So feet and knees together, opening your arms out to a T. When you're ready, rolling both knees gently to one side. Inhale to come through centre and exhale, take it over to the other side. Just go at your own pace. From one side to the other, maybe it feels nice to let your head go the opposite way to your knees. And we're using this as a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a reset and a stretch. Alright, as you're coming through centre this time, pick it up your knees and let's just do the same thing here. So just gently rocking from side to side. And then notice how you can just use your knees to kind of drag you and pull you from one side to the other. But we want to really use our abdominals here. So as you take your knees over to one side, we're going to start to come back down to the mat by working from our ribs first. So think about bringing your rib cage down to the floor first, then your waist, then your hip, and then finally the knees coming through centre and over to the other side. So it's the same thing. So the ribs are going to come down first, then your waist, then your hip, and then your knees. So we're using it not only as a little twist and a little reset, but also to work those abdominals. And then you can choose to keep those legs in that bent position, or you can try straightening those legs up towards the ceiling and do the same thing here. Obviously it's a little bit more challenging to have that straight leg, so don't go too far to begin with, but just see how it feels for you. Same thing as you're coming back, you're working right from those ribs, then the waist, then the hip, before the legs come over. Alright, when you're ready, bring those knees back in through centre. Give your knees a little hug and just rock gently from side to side here. We're going to come up to seated next. So when you're ready, come on up to find that seated position. And we're going to have our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor here. So we want to find that place where our abdominals kick in and start to work. So hold behind your knees first. In fact, lift your bottom up and tuck your tailbone under, so you're already kind of sitting on your tailbone a little bit. And then think about tilting your pelvis back and starting to roll back as though you're trying to bring the back of your pants down onto the floor or your waistband down onto the floor. Just pause for a moment and then come back up. Let's do that a couple of times. So you're rolling back, trying to bring the back of your waistband down to the floor and then rolling back up. Can you find that point at which your abdominals kind of kick in and they have to do some work to hold you? Roll back again, see if you can find that point and then hold it there. Can you take your hands away and not fall back? Can you feel your abdominals are working super hard? Again, we want to make sure that we're not bulging forwards or down, that those abdominals are supporting us, and then we're going to come back up. So we're going to start to add a little bit more onto those. If this is the first time you've done this, and even just doing that is enough, then just practice finding that little abdominal activation and then coming back up. We're going to add on. So I'm going to roll back, we're going to find that point at which the abs kick in, and then we're going to let go of those legs. We're going to inhale, we're going to lift the arms up towards the ceiling, keep the ribs down, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, lower. If you need to come out of it at any time, please do. 2 more like this. 1 more time. Let the hands come down behind your knees and roll yourself all the way back up and just rounding forwards over your legs and have a little rest here. Now if finding that abdominal activation point is okay, but then you struggle to hold there for very long, you could grab a block or a cushion or a bolster and just pop something behind here just to give you that little feeling of support. You still want to be using and working your abdominals, but you don't want to be kind of juddering the whole time and feeling like you might fall back at any point. It does want to be controlled. So if you want to have something there for now, then feel free. We're going to roll back again. When you're ready, find that activation position. Are you there? Lift the arms away. We're going to open the arms out this time, so soft elbows. Inhale as you open the arms out and then exhale to bring them back in. Inhale, open, exhale, back in. Keep going. 2 more like this. Last one here. Hands come down and roll yourself back up again, allowing your spine to round forwards over your knees, and just take a moment here to have a little breath. So for our next little exercise in this series, we're going to add a twist. So when you're ready, roll back again, find that point, and then we're going to twist to one side. Let your hands come down to the floor. Take your hands up and over and twist to the other side. Let your hands come to the floor. Again, let's go up and over, twist, up and over, twist. Make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. Two more, one more to each side, twist, and twist, and coming up and rolling forwards, and again rest. You can add on even further to that one. If you have something with a little bit of weight, like some hand weights, like a couple of tins of beans, like a light kettlebell, a bottle of water, just something with a little bit of weight, don't go wild, but you can find that position and then use whatever you've got with some weight to give you a little bit more load for your abdominals as you twist side to side. So maybe have a little play with that when you feel ready. We're going to go over onto our hands and knees. So when you're ready, come on over. So we're going to find our plank position. Now, a plank in itself is an abdominal exercise, and it takes time to build up the strength in all of the body parts to be able to hold a good plank. So if you're still working on your plank, then use whatever position works for you. I'm going to go through all of the variations so that you can find your own plank. If you already know where your plank is, then you can start practicing that now and coming in and out of it. If you're not sure, we're going to start all the way down on our elbows, and then we're going to walk our knees back so that your bottom is stuck up a little bit in the air. Drop it down a little bit just so you can feel that, again, abdominal activation. Find that point at which your abdominals are having to do some work, but you've not kind of sagged and you're not dropping all the way down. So a little bit of an elbow and a knee plank here. Now maybe that's your plank. Maybe you feel that you can take it a little bit further, so bring those knees back in. I come up onto your hands and knees this time. Same with every plank. Fingers wide, thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. We're still going to stay on our knees. We're going to walk our knees back from here. Again, finding that kneeling plank. Don't let your hips sag, keep those ribs drawn in, find that abdominal work here, and maybe this is your plank today. And then when you're ready, bring your knees back in. Maybe you're happy with your full plank, so again, find that stable shoulder position. Taking one leg back and tucking the toes under, taking the second leg back, tucking the toes under and holding here. Find your plank position now. Can you hold for 5 breaths? Two more. And then coming off and off. You're off your knees, off your wrists, and just give them a little twirl around. There's so many plank exercises that we can do. We can do the plank into the inverted V, plank into downward dog. We can lift legs, we can lift arms. There's so many variations that we can do. So plank is a great core exercise for you. We're going to go back onto our plank now, and we're going to start to bring our knees in one at a time. So you can stay on your elbows, you can stay on your hands and your knees, whichever variation you're doing. I'm going to do knees to begin with. So find your plank, wherever it is, and then you're just going to bring one knee in and then take it back. One knee in and take it back. If you're in that full plank, you're bringing a knee in, taking it back. You're trying not, as you bring the knee in, to tuck your bum under. So try and keep your back as straight as you can. And if you're on your elbows and your knees, you're going to have to come onto your toes and just bend those knees in here. Don't worry about your bottom hiking up in the air, that's fine. You're just finding that abdominal activation point where you can find that this is work for those abdominals and you're not bulging. 2 more. Last one. And then come on down, up your knees, up your wrists, and give them a little twirl around. Okay, so my last little core challenge for you for this session is a tripod kick through. If you don't feel stable and you don't feel like you can do this full movement, don't worry about it, don't do it now, just come back to it later on.
but it's good fun. It's a little bit of fun. So we're going to come down onto our hands and our knees first. So find that hands and knees position, tuck your toes under, and then we're going to lift the knees off the floor. So we're in a knee hover. We're going to let's take our left leg, and we're going to bring that left leg through, lifting your right hand to kick that left leg through, and then coming back, twisting back around to do the other side. So opposite hand, opposite leg lifts, and we kick that leg through. And we kick that leg through. Can you do one more time? Oh, my mat's walking away. And as you come in this time, come back onto your knees and come on off your wrists and give your wrists a little twirl around. So again, it's about building strength, building stamina and control. So it's a little bit of fun, but if you don't feel happy with that, then don't do that one for now. What you can do as a variation of that is to find your hands and knees, tuck your toes under and then just hover your knees and then lower them. And you can build up some strength and stamina by just adding that knee hover, and that's kind of a nice, again, deep core exercise. We're going to go over onto our back again now, so when you're ready, come on down onto your back. We're going to give our knees a hug. We're going to rock gently side to side. And then we're going to release the legs out long. Reach your arms overhead and stretch from your fingertips to your toes, making yourself as long as you can. Hold there for 3 deep breaths. And we're going to take it into our crescent stretch from here. So we're going to walk our legs to the right. So walk your legs to the right, to the right, to the right. And then walk your arms and upper body also to the right. So you're in that crescent or that banana shape. Check in with the ribs, making sure that you're not arching your back and flaring those ribs. So let your ribs relax down. Again, pop something under your head if you need to. And then choosing to either stay here or picking up your left ankle and crossing it over your right. And maybe with your right hand grabbing that left wrist, giving it that little pull and holding here. Taking some deep breaths, finding that length and that stretch all down the side of your body, lengthening through the waist, stretching and releasing the muscles through your waist. When you're ready, release the arms. Walk your legs back in through centre. We're going to go to the other side this time, so when you're ready, walk your legs to the left this time. Take your arms up and overhead and walk your arms and upper body also to the left. Feel free to stay here if that's enough, or picking up your right ankle, cross it over your left. With your left hand, grabbing that right wrist and giving it that little extra stretch. Checking in with the ribs, making sure that we aren't arching the back. Try and keep the ribs relaxed and down. Again, so that we can use our abdominals, and we're going to get that real nice stretch and that lengthening here. Take some deep breaths. And when you're ready, release your arms, release your legs. Bending your knees in, bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. When you're ready, come back up to seated. Now maybe it would feel nice for you to do that crescent stretch again, just spending a little bit of time on each side. Otherwise, just come up to seated, give your shoulders a roll, just move your head around, maybe doing that little twist like we did at the start. Maybe doing a little side bend. Just to release everything, just to make sure that we're not holding any tightness, any tension that we're going to take away with us into the rest of our day. Okay, when you're ready, release. You made it through, well done. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line if you want me to modify anything for you, or you want more, then you let me know. Thank you.